Today on the Factonetic channel, we discuss the ultimate test of human endurance, the survival of 16 men trapped in the frozen heart of the Andes. This is a story of biological breakdown, impossible engineering, and a choice that shocked the world. The departure, October 12, 1972. Imagine boarding a Fairchild FH-227D military transport. It's October 12, 1972. On board are 45 people, including a Uruguayan rugby team. They are heading over the Andes Mountains to Chile. But they aren't just facing a flight, they are flying directly into a navigational nightmare. At the Montevideo airport, the atmosphere is electric. Young men in orange jerseys are laughing, hugging families, and tossing rugby balls. They are athletes in peak physical condition, a factor that will soon be the only thing keeping them alive. The dead reckoning error. As the plane enters the Planchon Pass, the weather turns. Massive clouds swallow the aircraft, and a 50-knot headwind slows their progress. The pilots are flying blind, relying on dead reckoning, estimating their position based on time and speed. At 3:21 p.m., the co-pilot makes a fatal miscalculation. He believes they have cleared the mountains and are over the green valleys of Curico. He requests a descent. But the plane isn't safe. It is directly above the jagged teeth of the Andes. Impact and the 200 miles per hour Sled. Suddenly, the clouds part to reveal a black mountain ridge dead ahead. The pilots scream, "Pull up!" but it's too late. The tail strikes the ridge at 11,500 feet, shearing off instantly and sucking 5 passengers into the void. Both wings are ripped away like paper. The fuselage, now a hollow metal tube, becomes a 15,000-pound sled. It rockets down a steep glacier at nearly 200 miles per hour. Miraculously, the nose doesn't crumple. It slides until it slams into a massive snowbank. Silence follows. Out of 45 people, 12 are dead. The rest are stranded at 11,700 feet. The Biological Gauntlet. The environment is a death trap. At this altitude, oxygen is 40% thinner than at sea level. Night 1 brings a temperature drop to minus 30 degrees. To maintain a core temperature of 37 degrees, the human body begins burning 5,000 calories a day, equivalent to eating 20 cheeseburgers every 24 hours. The survivors search the wreckage for supplies. Their total inventory? 8 chocolate bars, 3 jars of jam, and a tin of almonds. Mathematically, they have enough food to sustain the group for exactly 48 hours. By day 10, their bodies enter autophagy, literally eating their own muscle tissue for energy. The transistor radio and the impossible choice. On day 10, they find a small transistor radio. They huddle around it, hoping for news of rescue. Instead, they hear the announcement. The search has been officially called off. The world thinks they are dead. Facing zero vegetation and zero animals, the survivors make a pact. They realize the only protein source left is the bodies of those who died in the crash. Using shards of window glass as tools, they make the choice to live. It is a transfusion of life that provides the chemical energy to keep their hearts beating for another 60 days. The Avalanche and the Engineer. Just as hope stabilizes, day 17 brings a new disaster. A massive avalanche thunders into the fuselage while they sleep, burying everyone under 6 feet of snow. 8 more suffocate. The remaining 16 are trapped in a lightless, frozen tomb for 3 days before digging out. Knowing no one is coming, they turn into engineers. They use the plane's copper wiring and nylon insulation to sew a massive 3-person sleeping bag. Without this gear to trap body heat, a trek out would be a sentence to death by hypothermia. The final walk and the riverbank. On day 61, Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa begin a final walk west. They scale a near vertical 15,000-foot peak with no climbing gear. At the summit, Nando expects to see Chile. Instead, he sees a horizon of thousands more miles of jagged, snow-covered peaks. They don't turn back. For 10 days, they walk until they reach the tree line. On day 70, they spot a man on horseback across a river. Nando ties a note to a rock and hurls it across. The cowboy, Sergio Catalán, rides for 8 grueling hours to reach the nearest police station. Initially, authorities are skeptical. Who could survive 70 days in the Andes? But the note is undeniable. News breaks instantly. By the time Nando and Roberto are reaching the village of Los Maitenes, the world is watching. They are carried on horseback, skeletal and sun-scorched, greeted by a crowd of stunned villagers and a growing swarm of international press. The miracle of the Rotors. December 22, 1972. 2 Chilean Air Force Bell helicopters take off. Nando Parrado, despite his exhaustion, climbs back into the cockpit to guide the pilots. The flight is a nightmare. High altitude winds and turbulent air pockets nearly swat the helicopters out of the sky. At the crash site, the 14 remaining survivors hear the distant thrum, thrum, thrum of the blades. They scream. They wave orange fabric. They weep. The pilots are in disbelief. The terrain Nando described as walkable looks impossible from the air. Because of the weight limits and thin air, the helicopters can only take 6 survivors at a time. The rescuers stay behind with the others overnight, providing the first real food and medical care they've had in 72 days. The reckoning, public interview and controversy. The survivors are taken to a hospital in Santiago, but the miracle of the Andes soon meets a harsh reality. A photograph surfaces. Human remains at the crash site, bones stripped clean. The initial narrative of divine intervention collapses. In a high-stakes, televised press conference, the survivors face the world. They don't hide. They explain the pact. We had to eat, they said, or we would have become the food ourselves. They compared the act to a heart transplant or a holy communion of survival. The initial public disgust turns into a profound debate on the limits of human morality. 16 men returned from hell, not just as survivors, but as a testament to the fact that when the math of life hits zero, the human spirit is the only variable that can find a way to rewrite the equation.